In 1919, the heavily favored Chicago White Sox lost to the Cincinnati Reds in the World Series. Soon, some players were accused of conspiring with gamblers to intentionally lose the series. This scandal shattered trust in baseball, leading to sweeping reforms to protect the integrity of the game. By 1921, 8 players were banned from baseball in the incident forever known as the Black Sox Scandal. While baseball suffered a black eye, America's pastime survived. Yet just a few years later, another scandal threatened the integrity of the game. This time it involved 2 of the greatest players of all time, Cobb and Tris Speaker. The 2 legends were accused of fixing a 1919 game between Cobb's Detroit Tigers and Speaker's Cleveland Indians. The accuser was Dutch Leonard, an above-average pitcher who threw 2 no-hitters and holds the modern record for the lowest season ERA in history. He also had a long history of conflict with Cobb. In 1914, Leonard hit Cobb in the ribs with a fastball. In the next at-bat, Leonard covered first base, and Cobb's foot, which had spikes, landed on Leonard's, drawing blood. In 1919, Cobb and Leonard became teammates with the Tigers and for a while appeared to have put the past behind them. But 2 years later, Cobb became player-manager, and the relationship erupted into an open feud. Cobb enjoyed fining Leonard for violating the team's curfew. They also argued on how to pitch certain players, which ended with Leonard cursing Cobb. Leonard also accused Cobb of overworking him and leaving him in blowout games to embarrass him. Eventually, the Tigers placed Leonard on waivers. He had an 11-4 record with 120 strikeouts and an ERA of 4.51 in his last season, which was decent but unspectacular. But no team claimed him, which effectively ended his career at 33. Soon, Leonard claimed Cobb discouraged teams from signing him. Leonard was not done with Cobb and swore to expose him. "I will ruin him," he was quoted as saying, and he believed he had the evidence to support his accusations. He accused Cobb and Speaker of fixing their team's last game in the 1919 season. The Chicago White Sox had claimed the AL pennant, with Speaker's Indians at second. Cobb's Tigers were fighting with the Yankees for third place. There was a monetary incentive to finish third. During that era, the players on third-place teams get a World Series share of about $500 each. Speaker allegedly claimed the Indians preferred the Tigers place third and wanted to help. Cobb and Speaker also allegedly decided that, since they were already fixing the game, they might as well bet some money. Leonard further claimed that Cobb, Leonard, Speaker, and pitcher Smokey Joe Wood agreed to put a combined $5,500 into the game. The Tigers won the game 10-5 and secured third place. Speaker had 3 hits, but these came when Detroit was comfortably ahead and the game was no longer in doubt. However, the 4 men weren't able to bet the entire amount and made little profit. After the game, they retired for the winter and likely forgot the incident. But 7 years later, Leonard alleged that the 4 men wrote letters to each other, saying that they shared regret that they weren't able to get all their bets on time, and their scheme fizzled. Leonard presented the letters to AL President Ban Johnson and Baseball Commissioner Kenesaw Mountain Landis. Once Johnson made the letters public, another gambling scandal hit the game. Landis called a hearing where Cobb testified the accusations were driven by Leonard's grudge. He also claimed that the letters were taken out of context and unrelated to gambling. Leonard, for his part, was a no-show, claiming that Cobb would attack him physically if he attended. Cobb also launched a ferocious defense and used his vast resources to fight back. As he had done in his career, he didn't back down on anyone. He told reporters, "I have given my life to the game of baseball, and I won't accept any attempt to darken my image." Landis, determined to protect the integrity of the sport, faced a delicate task, unraveling the truth while avoiding another public relations disaster for the game. With Cobb's defense and Leonard's no-show in the hearings, Landis declared that Cobb and Speaker were not guilty. "These players have not been, nor are they now, found guilty of fixing a ball game," Landis ruled. "By no decent system of justice could such a finding be made." But the 2 men did not get off easily. When the scandal erupted, they were both player managers, but were out of their teams the following year. Some claim their departures were indicative of guilt. Cobb transferred to Connie Mack's Athletics, while Speaker moved to the Washington Senators, but only as players. In 1928, Speaker joined Cobb with the Athletics and played their final season together. By that time, the scandal had largely been forgotten. Some claim that Landis exonerated the two men to avoid casting more doubts on the game's integrity. Baseball was still recovering from the near-fatal Black Sox Scandal and couldn't afford another controversy involving the game's legends. Others say that Leonard's refusal or inability to appear in the hearings was a major factor. But it is possible that Leonard's primary goal was just to tarnish Cobb's name with a gambling scandal, regardless of the facts. Or maybe he didn't expect the ferocity of Cobb's defense. Whatever the reasons, the two men soon moved on with their legacies relatively unscathed. In 1936, Cobb got the most votes in the inaugural class of baseball's Hall of Fame, beating both Babe Ruth and Honus Wagner. The following year, Speaker followed him in the Hall. Thank you for watching. Do you think Cobb and Speaker committed any wrongdoing? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing. It helps immensely.